And we're off, I think. Boom. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And it is, it's 9. It's Friday, the 17th of January, AD 2024. 25. AD 2025. We're going to have a fun show, I think. We'll see what happens with it. For some reason, this thing is not kicking on. Let me refresh. My YouTube video is not going. Maybe it'll go. Maybe it won't. Oh, no, it is going. Oh, you're right. It's just a slow-moving video. Indeed. What a mess. Hey, guys. How you doing? What are we going to cover today? It's going to be a loosey-goosey Friday show. I hope you stay right here with me. Yeah, there we go. Unmute. Make sure I'm unmuting the... Wait a minute. There we go. Right? Callers? I've unmuted both of the callers, right? Yeah. We will... I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't care about the TikTok thing, but the TikTok thing, I guess it's in the Supreme Court. The tax man getting his grubby fingers on your crypto, you crypto investor people. You're going to have to report some of your transactions to the tax man if you're in, the United States type of tax-paying person. It's going to be a cold inauguration day, they say. Windy over here next week, by the way, everybody. If the winds may pick up more fires for you. Isn't this nice? I like it. It's going through the car wash. It's supposed to be not good for your car. Because those things like smack against your paint job and your finish, and it could rub away the finish. It's not that good, but look at that. What a vibe. You pay for the vibes to destroy your car finish. But anyway, we're looking at the windshield, Hake's windshield. Did you know Hake has a windshield? Doxed. And the water is flowing through it. Or at least at this time, in the year 2022, April 17th. Probably before church. Wow. The 88-year-old Pope injured his arm falling. Rest in peace to weirdo, artsy type of director David Lynch. Gone at the tender age of 78, not even 80. Ooh. Eraserhead. He made Eraserhead. Was that the one with, was Eraserhead the one with, Arnold Schwarzenegger? Was Arnold Schwarzenegger in Eraserhead, or was he Eraser or something? I confused them, but Eraserhead had a big old hair. He also made Elephant Man, which I heard about when I was a kid. None of these movies have I seen. Mulholland Drive, I haven't seen it. He did Twin Peaks, which I didn't know it was an old thing from the early 90s, late 80s. But it also came out again in like 2017-ish or so. He had 4 wives, 1 partner, a woman, and 4 children. Rest in peace. Another news item, evacuations are crazy. They're doing a fire aid. Fire Aid is the name of this benefit concert with a bunch of lamos for the fire. Bunch of liberals who support having fires so they can do feel-good concerts afterwards and then support more self-destruction. So evil. But shout out to them. They're just trying to help, which ends up hurting. Stop helping. Trump's Hollywood ambassadors, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight. Nice. I like that. a very troubled Hollywood. And a starship broke up, and it wasn't re-entry from space. That was fake news from Hake. Or didn't break through the firmament. Didn't break all the way through the firmament. So, nice. We're moving forward. There are people coming, getting on hold to get on air with Hake. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. You can also super chat. I will get to your super chats. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys! I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song with the Hake. What in the world? Oh, nice. Whatever. Sweet! I don't know why it's so quiet.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Oh. So, how you guys doing? I'm fine. I am fine. I have my Knowledge is Poison t-shirt. Not to say don't get any knowledge. Just to say watch out because knowledge is poison. Eraser is Arnold, Hake, not Eraserhead. And it is. I mean, the Bible even says, I know you guys always like to quote, my people die for lack of knowledge. God didn't say it like that, okay? He didn't say it like a R word, etard, Ray. But you're missing that the Bible also says that knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. So, in your face, I shouldn't say in your face. Do you want to look at what's going on with the fires? You can get your shirts by going to thehakereport.com and then look for the... I recommend checking out the Printify store and skip Teespring, at least for the time being. You can check in with them to see how they're doing, but they're not trustworthy at this time. Okay, so here are the fires, these active fires. This is the state of California right here, right? We're looking at CalFire. Oh, man. Why did I do that? Look at the beautiful, I think this is sort of satellite imagery, or maybe it's cartoon. Okay, so I'm not that interested in the Palisades fire, but it's really bad. Look crazy, going over all that. But I'm more interested in Pasadena. Where you at? Look at how much it encroaches. These are homes, right? And these are homes. And what does the legend say? Hang on. Let's see what this says. No. Here, if I hit escape, will it? Yeah. Here's the legend. So, incident perimeter. They form a perimeter around the incident. So, the incident perimeter doesn't necessarily mean that there's fire, but there's fire basically encroaching. And if you, let me zoom back in on this area, and then this is like this. So the orange, the yellow is the fire with the red outlines, is the fire/incident perimeter. And look how much it's encroached into homes. That doesn't look that bad, but it's bad. A whole lot of like neighborhood. And look how much they're all evacuated because it could get into them. Look, it's eaten up. All those are homes. If you zoom in, homes. This is suburbs. That's, if I'm not mistaken, am I reading this correctly? What's this orange again? What's the orange mean again? Incident perimeter. Yeah, incident perimeter. And the pink / maroonish, reddish, whatever, evacuation order. And the light yellow is evacuation warning. There's just so crazy to me. Mind-boggling. Ridiculous. There is like no Okay, here's the evacuation warning, this light pale yellow here. So don't get that confused with this, which is where the fires are. And here's the 210 freeway, right? Is that the 210? Or am I mixing it up? The 210 goes east-west, and then right here, what is that? Come on. They're literally making it so I have to... I don't know, that's some freeway. It's an interstate. I can tell by the thing. There's the Rose Bowl. This is the Rose Bowl right here. And up in these hills is where I got lost, I think. Somewhere around here, maybe. Up here. Going for a run, and search and rescue had to come get me. Me and a friend of mine at Pasadena City College. Pretty sure that's the Rose Bowl, right? The Rose Bowl is not threatened at this point. It probably won't be, hopefully. But look how close. And that's crazy. And you know how I like to hike up Mount Wilson Trail? And I've shown it to you guys. That's this area around here somewhere. Let's see here. Wow. That might be this. I'm not sure. Okay, I think it is this area. We used to run the horse trail around here. Where's Sycamore? Is that Sycamore? There's a 210 freeway, and this is like the horse trail. There's a park. We run up to the park that's 8 miles from Arroyo High School, and we go up, I think that's the park, right? Not sure. And then we get here, and you go into these hills, and this is the incident perimeter. That's the incident perimeter from further east even than the Mount Wilson Trail. This is like the Rio Hondo River. Nice wash. It's a wash. Concrete wash. You know, like in Terminator 2, if you watch Terminator 2. I don't recommend it for kids, but many of my 4th grade friends, or was it 2nd grade, all saw, many of them, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. But he rode his motorcycle in the wash. It was around here that is the, I don't know, it's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy. But you go, let's see. I kind of want to see Sierra Madre. Will this help? It might. It might help. If I go back out here, I can show you. Grandview. Oh my goodness. Yeah. This is Sierra Madre. I've shown you guys footage from this area. I used to live. Here's Mount Wilson Trail. Oh yeah, that's it. My goodness, that's the Mount Wilson Trail. So I used to live right here. Miramonte, and Baldwin. I lived right there for about 9 months, right out of college. I used to take walks over here and go up, and I've taken you guys on these things, and you walk up here, hike. Beautiful homes. And hike. Oh, thank you. Somebody loves me. Chocolate. I disavow. I'm going to eat on camera.
You should leave it in the pack.
Oh, yeah, good idea. Grass. JLP being a temptation. Let me not make eating noises on, because that's gross. When you hear like the licking, clicking, sticking, popping sounds on camera. And you're not supposed to sing when you have sugar. He gave me chocolates because I started to open it and I got in trouble. And I got accused of something, of going further than I actually went. Falsely accused. Because people weren't really paying attention when they saw me playing with this. But look, I climbed up. You're not even climbing. It's just a nice truck trail walking. Well, it's not all truck trail. Some of it's narrow trail. But you go up here and there's like and you know that bubbling brook and all that stuff. It's crazy. Here, let me zoom back out. Isn't that nuts? Here, let me show you guys the Mount Wilson Trail. I know it may not be that interesting to you, but this is an example of the Mount Wilson Trail. This is all burning right now. Look how moist it is. There's a bubbling brook. The bubbling brook is probably lapped up by the fires, licked up by the fires. Who knows? Allegedly. Or at least it's in the perimeter. It's the incident perimeter. Well, they would close it off because you're not supposed to hike in that area. So it may not be burning, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is because of, not so much because Arcadia and Sierra Madre is incompetent, because Arcadia and Sierra Madre, I don't think of them as incompetent, but because they're California and LA County, especially, county is not as bad as the LA city, is bad. What a mess. It's terrible. I want to move on, though. I was curious about the update. Let's see. I also know people in Pasadena area. Is this Lake Avenue? Let me zoom out a little bit. This might be Lake Avenue. It's important to me. I want to know. Oh, that's Altadena. I guess it's not that important. There's Hill. See, I went to... whatever. I'm trying to convince myself it's not that important. I gotta go. We gotta move on. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that. Let me get to Phil. Is it Phil with
two? Yes, it is. It's Phil.
With two L's? Phil?
No, one L.
Okay, right on. Phil in Canada. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. You?
I'm doing fine, too. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. So you want my question?
Yeah, go for it.
So I've been a separated man from my wife and three young children under the ages of 18.
Yeah.
And basically, we have this youth court or youth protection. So they took the kids away from me, and now it's all supervised visits. And my kids, especially the two younger ones, really never had a problem with me, being with me. But as you know, my better half has...
Is that what you used to call her?
Yeah, my better half.
You did?
or like the kids say, "Mama's the boss."
Dang, the kids even picked up on that.
Yeah, Mama's the boss. So I got next week. I got to go sit down in a they call it a settlement conference, and I just want to know how I could tell my children that in not so many hurtful ways towards their mother, that their mother is just punishing me and punishing them, keeping us apart, and making it very difficult now to see them. So I just wanted to know how I could navigate that to them in a gentle and respectful way.
Respectful to who?
Well, respectful, I mean, in a respectful manner towards my better half.
Wait, why are you still calling her your better half? You're separated, right?
Well,
you separated, and it's going to be is it going to be a divorce?
I have no idea.
Okay,
no
but
idea.
you're separated. Okay, so you want to be respectful towards your wife to your kids. Are you feeling disrespectful?
I just feel that she's making it very difficult for me to see the kids for this 1 hour or 2 hours a week.
Right, and are you feeling disrespectful towards her because of that, or other things?
All kinds of emotions. I mean, I feel all different types.
Yeah, I bet.
Depends on the day. It depends
I know.
on the day.
That's funny, man. I can totally relate. Even though I can in many ways relate. I've never been married, except for married in my mind. But married in my mind's no good.
It's okay. It's not worth.
It's not worth it to marry?
No, I'm just saying as long as, you find that righteous girl that has a conscience, and that wants to serve right and doesn't want to serve the world,
Yeah. Are you are you white Canadian or Indian Canadian? This has nothing to do.
No, I'm white Canadian.
Okay. I was just curious. It has nothing to do with anything, really. I'm just amused by interest in that. But
and yourself?
Me, I'm white American.
Okay, so
yeah, so we're
two
brothers.
Whites can get along. Two whites can get along. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
my wife is white too.
Nice. On the outside, not on the inside, it sounds like. She doesn't have a conscience, maybe.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not here to figure anything out inside of her. It's just that, I'm just trying to keep a relationship, a decent relationship.
Are the kids older than 10?
10, 13, and 16.
Nice. Well, man,
so,
do you have to tell them anything?
Well, the thing is that I got to sit down with this protective services that basically I was called on me.
Oh, she called child protective services on you?
Yeah, she called them that, this story, that was abusive, and anyways, all this litany of stuff. And
you're still calling her your better half.
Well, I'm just being nice. I'm just being nice.
Yeah, you don't want to.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're told to forgive. Forgive our enemies.
Right.
So I want to be set free. I feel freedom now. The only thing is it's just for my kids, where I just want to let them know listen, they've been coerced. I don't want you guys alone with Dad. He needs to be supervised. All this, like they call shit talk, And I don't think the kids need to hear that.
Right.
And I'm at a point.
But you got with the woman who is now talking like that. It's kind of your fault, You just have to let what you don't have a choice but to let her do that, because that's what the government's doing. The government's on her side. It sounds like.
Well, that's it. So I just want to let the kids, what can I tell my kids on these limited?
What are you trying to? What would you like to communicate to them? Just in plain, but not too much cussing English to me. What if you were to tell me what you're really thinking, and that's what you want the kids to know, but what you're really thinking, not in. Don't be diplomatic about it. Just spit it out. What you want to say to them.
I just want, when I'm with them, to be free with them, and them not being, could you say, manipulated or intoxicated about their dad.
Oh,
and
have their mind. You mean have their mind poisoned by their mother against you, and that's what that's what you wish you could explain to them.
So so how do I explain that? Listen, your mom, in a way, without disrespecting their mother, in a way that your mom, or we have, no one has any right to judge anyone for their actions.
You're not being direct enough, man.
Yeah,
they're not going to get it, because I don't even get it.
I just want to let my kids.
You can't even spit it out for me. Yeah. I know that kids are listening and you want to be nice, but this is beyond that. You're beating around the bush. Why are you so? Okay,
I just want to I'm ready right now just to tell my kids, say, listen, this is very, very difficult situation that we're in.
For who?
And for myself and for my kids. And that I'm prepared now to just let them go. Just let it go. I don't want, this relationship until they get to an age to say, hey, listen, and let them figure it out. But I want to let them down easy, because this is just a shit show.
Sorry, kids.
For me.
I get that, man. But you know what? In my opinion, based on what you're telling me and the little clues that you're dropping about, you don't want them to end up this way. You don't want to sound disrespectful towards her. You don't want to. You are trying to manipulate the outcome and be diplomatic and strategic. Why not be spirit-led? Okay. Meaning stay present, speak your mind to them, but tame your tongue, of course. But you're not taming your tongue in the spirit, from the Spirit of God. You're taming your tongue from the spirit of fear and kissing up and afraid to sound disrespectful for some reason to this evil woman who's lobbying accusations against you that I don't know if they're true or not. They don't sound like they're true to me.
Yeah.
But
you're right.
And women do lie, and you ought to not hold that against them. They just lie. Trump got lied about when he was divorcing his wives, or they were divorcing him. I forget. I don't know which way it went. I didn't really pay attention. But one of them said something horrible about him, and that came up in the campaign decades maybe later. And she's like, oh, I was just mad. She's like, I love him.
You're right.
She's like, he's great. I was just mad. She's since died. So they're just mad and they're evil. They can't help it. But don't be like, oh, I don't want to disrespect her and calling her your better half, and the kids call her the boss. That's already like a clue that you don't have love, you have kiss up mindset. And so now you're still trying to, and kissing up is playing God because you're trying to manipulate how they respond to you and how the outcome ends up rather than just being normal. So your whole approach is off. I don't even necessarily want to tell you how to talk to your kids, what to say to them, how to say it, or anything, or how not to be disrespectful, because disrespectful should not be in your mind at all, nor respectful.
Right.
In my opinion, like your God, I guess, is outcomes rather than praying without ceasing, staying present and just living, and let whatever will be.
Right.
Because whatever your kids, you messed up your kids when you got with this woman, before they were even a twinkle in your eye. You know what I mean? I mean, kind of, because you got with this evil woman and then you let her be the boss, and you let her be the quote unquote better half. She's not better, I don't think.
The worst. There you go. My worst half. Okay, I'm changing.
Well,
my
I don't know.
mindset.
I don't know. You're kind of as bad as her. You're no better than her or worse than her.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, the thing is that I got to meet with her next
You
week.
probably make her and God want to spit.
It could be possible.
Because you're lukewarm. Somebody said you're lukewarm in the chat, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know how guys are lame, wishy-washy, kind of want God, but also kind of want these nicer outcomes in life. That's what I think God meant when he was talking about lukewarm.
Exactly. The guy is actually, whoever commented that is right on. I'm lukewarm. That's correct. I am lukewarm. I'm not yes, and I'm not no. I'm going to be meeting my wife and my kids and this youth protection next week.
Ooh.
And and it'll probably be the first. Yeah, it is the first time in a year that I've seen my wife.
Oh, wow.
And gotten this opportunity to speak with her.
Yeah.
So I just needed to speak my mind because I got to listen to them. They dictate to me, hey, you got 1 week, one visit a week for 1 hour with your kids. All right. I'm just getting very annoyed with that, very upset with that dictation to me. I just want to know. I just want to know this. How do I put my foot down, not hurting my kids, and say, listen, kids, I no longer want any of those visits for 1 hour, 1 week, once a week, supervised. I've had it. No offense to you guys. I love you. But Dad cannot take this abuse anymore.
Just say that.
That's it.
But don't have a mindset of without hurting them, because whether they're hurt or not, that's Satan in their mind. Because Satan, no doubt, has their mind, especially the ones who are older than 10, and probably the 10-year-old too. So,
she's the smartest one out of them all.
They may or may not pick up on understanding you. They may or may not understand you, but if you want to say that to them, I don't see anything wrong with saying that to them.
Yeah. Well, the smartest one is the youngest one. You know what she said?
Yeah.
Mom needs to forgive you.
Yeah. Except Mom doesn't need to do anything except stay white and live, and then eventually maybe die.
Right.
Like everybody tends to.
Yeah. So that's the situation I'm in next week, to see the mother of my children. And
But you got to get
children.
over the irritation of the evil law and evil injustice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you ought to anyway.
Yeah, that. Like I said, that's where.
Because that's a slap. Even though that's maybe you should because it sounds like you're annoyed at that. Understandably annoyed at these ridiculous conditions.
Yes.
Get over that annoyment before you make your decision.
Yeah, I know. So
because it sounds like you're quitting that out of frustration, and it may be right to quit it. I'm not saying it's wrong. It doesn't sound wrong at all to quit it, but it's not right to be irritated at that. Because being irritated, you're gonna make hell for yourself.
Right. So now the whole sacrifice is that I will not see my kids, and I don't know until when. So I am going to make a choice that I cannot no longer be, like you say, irritated by this system. And my kids, because my little daughter wants to spend time with me.
Who's the one supervising?
But they're always encouraging, no, your dad needs to be supervised.
Who's supervising?
This youth protection.
Oh, okay.
So they have this.
And have they issued, so that you've been dealing with that, have they issued you any warnings or been like, where you could potentially get in trouble for things that you say and do around them that they've witnessed?
So what they do is they, if I ask them, hey, did you guys go to church services this Sunday? So how's your grandfather doing? And then they'll put me aside. Don't ask them questions. Let them ask. It's all dictated. Like it's like they have to dictate their narrative here.
Yeah.
And so it's come, like you said, it comes to a point now of frustration where they call me. They said, well, your kids want to see you. Mom has decided they want to go to, let's say, McDonald's for 1 hour. All right, I'll go and meet them. Okay, then that's it. So it's basically they push the button, and I have to go, and then they push the button, I have to stop. It's like, and they want to continue this for 1 more year.
Oh, and you want to stop it?
I want to stop it coming next week.
You don't want to. You don't want to deal with it for 1 more year?
Well, the thing is that this whole year that they want to do is a thing of observation to see how I act with my kids, and then what they will do is they'll make it unsupervised.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So right now I'm being tormented. It's already since last August that it's been supervised.
Okay.
So they still haven't let up because my wife has not let up. She's the one who's saying, no, my kids need to be supervised when they're with their father.
Yeah.
So I just need to stand firm. I don't want to hurt my kids' feelings because the 2 younger ones really enjoy spending time with me, but they've been told that their dad needs to be supervised.
Do you like seeing them even with the supervision stuff? Do you like seeing them?
Well, I can't. Yeah, I look forward to it, but it's like I say, I'm handcuffed.
Right. Do you like seeing them when you're handcuffed like that? Metaphorically speaking.
No.
So you don't even like seeing them at that point?
At that point, in that environment, no.
Oh, okay.
But they choose, like they told me, they choose with the mother when to see me. So let's just say next week, Wednesday, they want to see me for an hour. They call me up and they say, let's go for a McDonald's. And I show up, pay them at McDonald's. How's school? How's the cat? And go home.
Yeah.
So I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah. Well,
I'm frustrated.
well, that's up to you whether you want to keep doing that or not. I'm not going to tell you
Yeah.
one way or the other because I don't know. You're in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds
So how do I tell? Yeah,
how you're
can I tell
portraying
the
it is really ridiculous, and I understand
It's evil.
being frustrated.
It's evil, man.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
evil.
But
So how do I tell the system next week or the youth protection, my wife and my kids? I said, listen, I no longer want to be in this type of environment. It is not good for my own personal health, mental health too.
like how you just said it. It sounds like I mean, unless you can go get in trouble for doing that, some type of I don't know, you could get if you can get in like trouble, like as in go to jail or get charged with something or something. I don't know what. I know you guys don't really have as much freedom of speech as we supposedly do.
No, we don't.
But the first thing is not to be mad at the injustice that you really brought on yourself, because it's not as if you didn't have some inkling that fathers and men don't have get the short shrift in situations like this. I don't think. And anyway, you should have known not to get with this evil woman. Or you should have known not to be beta with this evil woman, because you've been beta, you know? But you've been lukewarm, and that just brings even more trouble on yourself. Being weak, it just invites people to genocide you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to.
That's the first thing is you want to stop. You want to get. Never mind about how you're gonna say whatever you're gonna say. You want to be spirit led. And to be spirit-led, you got to drop this selfish, petty anger at this humiliation and tying of your hands.
Right. So I got to drop that.
Yeah, drop that, and then let whatever comes out of your mouth come out of your mouth, and hopefully it's not too rash.
So how do I drop that? How do I do that?
Have you done like forgiveness of your parents, and are you praying without ceasing?
Yes. Well, praying without ceasing. I have forgiven. I've forgiven my wife. You know, I've forgiven her. I've forgiven my mother. You know, my parents. Yes, I have. And now it's just forgiving this youth or system that we have here who's tying my hands and letting it go and say, listen, I do not want to be, like I said, that word, handcuffed every time I see my kids. But they're saying, well, your kids need to be supervised because the mother and we feel that it's necessary until we feel and the kids feel that they can be with you one-on-one. So I'm in a very frustrated mood.
And so you're not praying without ceasing?
Praying without ceasing. I mean, you mean offering this up to God?
No, I just mean praying without ceasing.
Yeah, give me something more.
Well, Jesus said, "Don't worry," and all I hear from you is worry and frustration, anger.
Yes, I just don't want to hurt my kids by saying, "Listen,
see, you're
I don't
worrying."
want this anymore.
So you're not praying.
Yeah, I'm worrying. So I'm not worrying.
So you're not praying. You're worrying.
Yes, I'm worrying. Yes. So I I'm afraid or I'm worrying. When I do make that decision, Dad no longer wants to see the kids in this type of environment. And then what they'll do is...
Whatever, Phil, you've been saying this like 10 times.
Yeah, but until the age of 18. So that's
right.
the choice I got to make.
And then they may not even want to see you after that. Whatever.
Yeah, I got to make a big decision.
You don't have to make any decision.
No?
Yeah, you could let them make the decision, or you could say, "Oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to do this under these conditions." Or you can, I guess those are the two things. Say, I don't want to see you under these conditions, or, okay, I'm going to comply with these conditions. I want to see the kids and blah, blah, blah.
Right. You know
or
what?
you let them decide, and you just be quiet.
Yes, the light just went on. The light just went on.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. The light just went on. When I see them next week, yes, you asked me to come in here. I'm present. I'm here to listen, period.
Nice.
To whatever conditions they want to give me.
Yeah.
I see the kids once a day, once a week, follow whatever protocol and accept it or not accept it.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, and you want to get past this being a victim stuff, because you're being a victim, it sounds like. Or you've been being a victim. Like JLP said, it was the lesson from today. I don't know if you caught Jesse Lee Peterson today.
No.
Oh, well, check him out, because he said people love feeling like victims.
Okay.
And a lot of the men who are abused by the system and their wives and their children's mothers, they're turning into victims, and that's not a good thing for a man to be, or anybody to be.
So what's the advice he gave to not be a victim?
I don't know. You got to check it out. One good idea would be catch yourself when you're complaining.
Okay.
And catch yourself catch yourself when you're feeling anything.
Okay, and accept the reality in the present moment, what I'm going through.
Yeah, the theme this year is practice being present. And that will maybe guide you into praying without ceasing and dropping worry, because worrying is not manly or lovable. I mean, Jesus loved people who worried. Jesus loved people, but people will despise you for worrying, and they will abuse you because you're vulnerable.
Like I said, this is a 30-year investment I have, and it's like, boom.
Oh, you've been married 30 years?
Almost, yeah.
Okay. Well, man,
it's a big investment, and I got to just say, here, set myself free. Goodbye.
Yeah, it might not have been an investment. It might have been a squandering. You might have been. Yeah. It's quite possible that you were just the. Jesus talked about the prodigal son, the son who just squandered his life and money, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, I could just come home." So come home. I mean, go home, Phil. Return to the Father.
Yes, I agree.
And
I agree with
be
you.
a servant or whatever he wants you to be, and it'll be better than you realize. It'll be such a relief.
Yeah. You know what? That's the word I used when I left home. I was relieved. I just don't want to affect my kids without a father, to protect them and to provide for them. And I don't want them to feel that I have abandoned them.
Well, you can't control however they're going to feel, because the devil has them on.
It's like my daughter, when I saw her last week. She said, "Dad, they're trying to vaccinate. They want us to vaccinate us again in the school.
Yeah.
And they told us that if we don't, we could die of a lung virus." So she was panicking.
That's not good either. That's not good for your health to panic.
Yeah. So this poor little 10-year-old is worried. And I'm saying, well, I know your mom is anti-vax. I think you should bring that up with her, and she can address the school. So I can't even go and call the school because I don't have any more rights on my kids.
But that's good.
Say,
You can
"Hey,
just
listen."
wash your hands of that type of stuff and just like
So, and my other son, he's going through puberty, and I can't talk to him about that.
yeah. But I never talked to my dad about puberty or my mom. What in the world do you want to talk to them about?
No, I just want him to know, listen, to have respect for women.
Oh, come on.
and
Good
things
look
like
where that got you.
Yeah, well,
I'm kidding around with you a little bit, but I'm not
good.
I'm not totally kidding though, because just live respect, live. If you cure yourself of this worry, then you'll have respect for this evil woman in the right way, and then you won't have to worry about sounding disrespectful or not. You could call her a B word or not call her a B word, and it would be like in love, and it
You
would
want
be
me to go to jail?
It would be appropriate.
If I say that, I'll go to jail.
That's funny, man. Is that bad in Canada?
Well, you know what? My friend was clocked over the head, okay, bleeding and everything. He was removed from his home and charged, and he was bleeding.
He called
He
a
was
female
hit.
cop something?
And the female cops show up and said, "Sir, you have to leave. You are being charged for assault."
Wow.
Yeah, but she hit me.
Right.
And they don't listen. Like I say,
Well,
next week,
when you say something, use strong words against somebody who's in his imagination or her imagination, she can feel like that's a threat, like threatened. She can feel intimidated and call it assault.
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
like,
well,
you got
watch
no
your mouth.
chance.
Watch yourself.
Here you got no chance. You got no chance.
All right.
No chance. So like I said, I'm going next week. I'm going to in a room with my wife, my kids, with the youth protection. I'm going into a room where they have a hatred for fathers.
Yep. So check out rebuildingtheman.com/prayer.
Okay.
Are you familiar with
rebuilding
rebuildingtheman.com/prayer?
Rebuild. Yeah, let me just take that down. Rebuildman.com.
Rebuildingtheman.com
rebuildingtheman.com
/prayer.
/prayer.
Yeah. And there's a recording. There's a recording there. That's how you do the silent prayer.
Perfect. Hey, thank you for your time, man. God bless you.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. I'm curious. We're all curious. Well, I don't know if we're all.
Next week. No. But yeah, no, I gotta man up. I gotta man up.
Yeah.
And it's my kids. I just that's my concern.
Don't lament them. Don't worry about them.
Just do the right thing.
Yeah, and not just do the right thing. Just stay present. Be present so that you don't miss the moment worrying about something else going on that you have no control over yet.
Yeah, I like your approach because I think the toughest thing for me now is to settle down and be silent.
Yeah.
And go in silent. Hello. I'm here, present. Good day. How are you? And sit and listen.
Yeah.
And see what their motives and their intentions are. And I'll just take a note and I say, thank you very much. I will review it. And I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Don't get too much into your imagination about how you're going to be and how it's going to go. Just
because it can change, you're saying.
Yeah.
They can arrest me. I could be under arrest.
Yeah. Don't make this thing too important.
Yes. No, that you're right. You're right. It's just that it sucks. It sucks to be me now because I enjoyed being with my children.
Yeah.
And And that's the difficult part, and letting them go when I know my little daughter and my son really want to see me.
Yeah. So
And
then,
they don't.
let God decide whether you should continue with this thing, and not your own frustration or anything. Because it may be right for you to stop, or it may be wrong for you to stop, and you don't want to mess with it, and you don't want to be fiddling with results, trying to trying to play God with the results.
I'll tell you, this is the kicker. They told me already that they don't want my youngest daughter to be there next week.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
You know why? Because the kid speaks the truth.
Nice. So she's fine already. She needs you the least because she already is close to the truth.
And she goes, I want to be there. And she because when I saw them last, she goes, and the supervisor said, well, sir, you need to be there at 9 a.m. and boom, boom. But your youngest daughter, does not have to be there. And she goes, no, I want to be there. They're like, shh, 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 shh. Because the child speaks the truth. She goes, I want to see my dad whenever I want to see my dad. But they're saying, no, your dad is evil.
Nice.
He needs to be supervised. So he goes, Dad, I can only see you when there's somebody here.
Right. The kids are smarter than you think, man. They pick up and see through the crap, especially if you don't be a lame-o.
But she's not going to be there next week.
That's fine. Phil, don't complain.
Yeah.
I got to keep it moving, though, man.
Go.
Let me know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, call me back and let me know how it goes. I'm a little bit curious.
What's your full name again?
Say again?
Your name, your full name?
James Hake. James Anton Hake.
James Hake.
Yeah.
That's a fish, Hake.
Yeah, like the fish, exactly.
Hake. James, thank you very much.
Yeah,
God
thank you,
bless.
man. Yeah, you too.
And
two quick questions from the chat. Have you ever seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
No, I don't watch movies.
Good for you. I've seen it, and I don't really recommend it. That guy committed suicide.
No,
Sorry.
No.
Robin.
No.
It has Robin Williams, and he dressed
enjoy
up like Robin Williams dressed up like a grandma, so that he could go see his kids, sneak around and see his kids. And then the other question is, do you have mild Asperger's, perhaps? Do you know?
What's that mean? What is that?
I don't even know. It's sort of like a high-functioning autism. It has to do with not picking up on social cues and hyper-focusing sometimes on things. It's basically sort of human nature, but sometimes people go a little extreme with it.
I have some Mediterranean blood in me.
I can tell.
Basically, we just want to eat, drink, and have sex.
Ooh.
And that's it.
Yeah. Well, I wish you well, man. Nice talking with you.
Anyways, take care, bud.
All right, you too.
Take care. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, man. Bye. Chat, suffering. 34 minutes or 33 minutes. Let me keep it moving, though. David, a first-time caller in Dallas, Texas, Tejas. How you doing, David? Thank you for calling.
Good, James. How are you, sir?
Doing fine. Thank you.
I enjoy your show. I've been listening for going on 2 years, and started out with Jesse, and then trickled over to the rest of you guys. You and the Anchor Baby and Joel. Appreciate all y'all's content very much.
Right on, man.
So, without divulging too much information, I've been through a very similar situation to the young man that just called. I got drug into court.
Even in Texas?
Pardon? Even in Texas.
Crazy,
what I have found out is that these courts, doesn't matter, if it's in a free country, quote unquote, they have no interest whatsoever in seeing a family together as a unit.
Right.
There is no money for them as a state or a county to have a family together. The money comes when there's separation, because then there is temporary assistance for needy families, and
boy.
women and infant children. There's they get subsidized for rent. I mean, it is the epitome of the civil rights movement on steroids.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't realize it completely until I ended up with custody of one of my children and my oldest son, and I started talking to the Attorney General's lawyer, and I'm like, where do y'all get your money from? I said, because if I give you $600, you give her $600. And I said, so where do you get your money? Because I see y'all are flying all over the country and state representing these women, and I don't understand where you get your money from.
Yeah.
And she laid it out for me. She said it's from all these subsidies. So it's very disheartening, and I feel, I don't feel for the guy. I mean, Phil, I mean, he's like me. He's done it to himself.
Phil, the prior caller. Yeah, exactly. Did it to himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, of course. I mean, I did too.
And why should we be disheartened? Like the Bible specifically says, I think, do not be dismayed, about the evil in the world, something to that effect.
Right. Don't be surprised.
Yeah. And the Bible talks about people who suffering for doing wrong and people suffering from doing right. And in the world, like, if you have the good fortune of doing right, actually, and suffering for it, that's great. But doing wrong, don't be dismayed, because you're kind of suffering for doing wrong. You are suffering for doing wrong. And it's...
I am.
It is unjust, it's evil, but you're not supposed... What, you're surprised that the world is evil? Not surprised, but dismayed, to be dismayed or frustrated.
But we are, we when we get into the middle, we can... When we're removed from a situation, or from a majority of situations, it's easy to not be dismayed.
Right.
But when you are in it, you're like, oh my God,
yeah,
I can't believe this is happening.
That's when the ego really hits. There's this quote. There's this quote from this guy who's probably he's dead now. He's a comedian. He was a liberal, I think, but he was pretty sensible in some ways. And he said, "Everybody,
what's his name?
Carlin, maybe George Carlin."
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He said something about everybody.
Carlin, yeah.
Everybody loves you for speaking the truth until you speak it to them, and then you're a blip hole. And that
an enemy, for sure.
I've witnessed that firsthand with JLP. I love hearing him tell the truth, and sometimes I relate to the people to whom he's telling the truth, because I'm like, oh yeah, that applies to me. But then when he tells me the truth about me personally, it's something like resentful in there.
The hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you start sweating. Yeah, I understand.
And the same thing with, oh, this person's going through a breakup. Oh, this person's going through a divorce. Big wow.
Oh, yeah.
Happens all the time until it happens to you, and then that selfish self inside you is stunned at having to go through this. And I get that. I get, but it's also kind of a witness of how evil they are and how evil you are. That's the evil that you're attached to, that's affected by that.
Right. And nobody wants to think of themselves as evil. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else is evil but me.
Right. Terrible.
So I want to, so let me tell you briefly what happened in this court transaction this last August. I got notification in June, I think it was, that I needed to be in court. I've been in family court. I'm 55 years old. I've been in family court off and on for over 20 years. Okay. So,
because of the family thing.
Because I didn't learn the lesson that was presented to me the first time or the second time or the third time. I've got 5 kids with 4 women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Chew on that for a second.
What a
I
Chad.
pay $30,000 a year in child support,
Nice.
and I make
Not nice.
net. I net like 68 last year.
Wow.
So they get me for 30
And then on top
grand.
of that, you
on
also have
top of that-
taxes.
Exactly. So they tax me on the rest. Whatever's left over, they tax me on.
So you get about get about $8,000 a year take home.
Well, no, I mean, I'm making more than that, but
Yeah.
I mean, so I make 68. They take 30. I get taxed on the rest. I mean, I'm coming home with 25.
Okay.
You
That's
know?
funny, man.
It's
not funny.
It's hilarious.
It's
Oh,
hilarious
no,
in a
it's
bitter
scream.
way.
It's a scream. But I want to commend you on, you've been able to, for whatever reason, you've been able to escape a lot of this,
Yeah, so far so good, huh?
Kudos to you, bud.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen how my life turns out after this day, but yeah.
I think you're going to be good, man. I think you're going to be good. You got a pretty good head on your shoulders, and if
you'd be
if
surprised.
nothing else, no, I don't know. I wouldn't be. Not too much.
Right,
surprised.
I know.
but I've seen the interaction, and of course I haven't been here for your whole journey, but I've seen the interaction with what's going on in the office and on the shows and everything, and you've learned a tremendous amount, and wisdom really is not something that it's something that you can see somebody else go through and see that you don't have to go through that yourself. That's being wise.
Yeah, true.
You're like, okay, well, this guy, So anyway,
also,
I went
wisdom
to court.
is I heard a wise man say one time, the best thing you can do is realize you get what you deserve.
Right. Ouch.
Except, these felons who have trouble because they're felons, they get discriminated against.
Right.
Rightly or wrongly, they get discriminated against. Just accept it.
Acceptance is the key to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Most everything.
Nice, man.
But so I went to court,
Uh-huh.
and the mother was dragging me to court she wanted to up the child support another $700 a month. She wanted me to pay for her lawyer, which was $3,000. She wanted supervised visitation and random urinalysis. And all the other times that I've been to court, and like I said, I've been in court many a time, and I've always gone in there with like a briefcase or some kind of a folder with the paperwork in there. And this time I showed up and I had the same kind of mentality that Phil was talking about having, with just kind of giving up, and not really giving up because I didn't want to see my kids, but giving up because I was just like, I'm done with this battle, you know? And so her lawyer spoke, and he, brought up all of my past, which it's not horrible, but it ain't great.
Right.
And so he's bringing up all this, and, David had a DWI in 92. He had this, that, and the other.
1992?
Oh, yeah, I know. So
33 years
and
ago.
all I can do is just, I know.
That's
I
funny.
know. And all I could do was just sit there and kind of nod like, yeah, I mean, all of these things that he's saying is
there you
true.
go. Right on.
And so when it got time for me, because I'm representing myself, I don't have enough money to get a lawyer.
Good
Never
for
have.
you.
And,
right on.
And they call that pro se.
Okay.
Where you represent yourself. And so I stood up and I said, everything that this young man here just got through saying, it's true. I said, but what I want to say to the court is that there is a story in the Bible where there were two women that lived under the same roof, and you know the story, right? Because I heard the story on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and it's about going in front of Solomon, and Solomon said, well, bring me my sword, we'll cut the baby in half, and the woman that squealed was the real mother of the child.
Yeah.
and I said, I'm done. I'm done dividing these children the way that they're trying to be divided in this court. And with this mother, I said, I'm done. And so the judge, she said, when she got her chance to speak, she said, no, we're going to go up $150 on the child support to $700. There's no supervised visitation. There's no random UAs, and she needs to pay for her own lawyer.
Oh,
that
cool.
was the first time that I've ever won in court, ever.
Nice.
And I'm not saying it was a complete win, but it was a pretty big win for me.
You should start your own family law racket. Take the sinner man's money. I'm kidding around. But right on, man. That's cool. Isn't that the way? And even if you hadn't gotten your way,
it was crazy that in giving up, I gained.
Yep, it's cool. Shout out.
Yeah. Well, it's a shout out really to the show and to Jesse and to you guys. That I really do appreciate y'all's network. I really do, and I also have a face for radio.
Nice. And you have a voice for it too. It's good to hear from you.
I do. I've been told that for years. I've been driving a truck now for 2.5 years.
So did Elvis Presley. He drove a truck.
Did he?
And then he was singing on the CB, I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, man,
but yeah, it's
shout
given
out
me
to
an
the
opportunity to listen to you guys a lot, and I appreciate y'all's content and your time and your effort that you put into your shows. I really do.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Take care, David.
I'll call back when time's right.
Definitely.
You have a great day, man. Have a good weekend.
You as well. Appreciate you.
We'll see you on Sunday.
That sounds cool.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, rebuildingtheman.com/church. I have a couple of, at least one anyway, super chats. One super chat anyway. Shout out to Altadena, Pasadena, Pacific Palisades. Omid bought a coffee, saying that was a great call, referring to the first one, the one that went 35 minutes almost. Loved hearing the advice. Thank you, Hake. Nice, man. Appreciate the support. Much grass. That's Spanglish for muchas gracias. Many thanks. I'm live on, see the Rumble crew. Check out Rumble, the Hake Report over on Rumble. Thank you to the guys who've... Oh, yeah. Mo Betta gave me a diamond, I believe. That's Mo Betta. Guy in a Buffalo gave an ice cream. Beta Legs is on a sub streak. You can subscribe over on dlive.tv/The Hake Report. Mo Betta was happy that that Rick got on. Amazing show today, meaning yesterday. Thanks for the time, Rick and Hake. Amazing show today. That's cool. Let me get back to some callers. I do hope to get, well, we'll see when we get to some content as well. Like stuff to read and show. Haden in Texas is on the line, though. Haden, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Well, hey, I'm proud to say I got the response that I wanted from your brown callers yesterday.
Nice.
Listen, notice how it's only the brown.
By brown, you mean black, right? Brown skinned.
Well, not white is
right.
my point.
Okay.
That try to correct the record. Two of your most proven radical, incompetent, and biased callers say that I'm wrong. They said exactly what I said, but the opposite, just to try to fit their narrative.
Yeah. Well, are you referring to Ronnie in Ohio? He bought a coffee saying, do you agree with me that Haden is radicalized and that stuff? Or are you referring, I don't know, One of the callers is sort of white. She's Irish. I won't get into that. But it said that Jesus is not. I think Jesus is Jewish. Whatever, man. You don't really want to be wanting a reaction from people. That's not really a good way to live, though, Haden.
No, yeah, that wasn't my intentions.
Okay.
It was the response. That sort of was coming along the way.
True, but you don't want to you don't even want to take glee in people overreacting and making fools of themselves, or disagreeing or getting attention, because a lot of people get a thrill, an ego thrill out of attention, whether it's negative or positive, or getting people to react, and it's not right. It's not good.
Well, no, I understand.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out, because I literally laughed out loud. Because,
I bet.
And I wasn't talking about the Irish girl. I was talking about your caller from Kentucky.
Oh,
and,
John from Kentucky. Oh yeah, he went crazy. That's funny. Shout out.
Well, yeah.
He is you, kind of, except he's Black Hebrew Israelite. Jesus is black, and you're white Christian American. Jesus is white.
But except I can back my points, though. Number one, we have never called ourselves Indians, by the way. I don't know where he got that from.
Oh, probably me and Pocahontas. Some of us.
Pocahontas?
The woman from Massachusetts, or wherever that woman's from.
The one Trump calls Pocahontas?
Elizabeth Warren, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I see what you mean by that.
There's a lot of whites who say, "Oh, I have some Indian blood in me."
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just joking around, though. We're not.
It's joking, or they really think it, but I don't know. Whatever. Oh, but we also call ourselves the real Native Americans because we were born here in America to American parents, who were born to American parents. That makes us Native Americans. So maybe that's what he means, but we're not calling ourselves. We're not calling ourselves Indian American Indians.
Exactly.
We're calling ourselves real Americans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard a white person call themselves Indians. Your two people that responded have called themselves the original pharaohs, Israelites, and the first on earth.
Yeah.
So again, notice how they're accusing me and the rest of the whites of exactly what they do, and they have no evidence whatsoever to back up what they said yesterday. Nothing. And that's what I was talking about, the Holocaust. It is only testimony that they got. They have no physical evidence from real historians and scholars to suggest it ever happened whatsoever. It's only been testimony. That's it. And I would love to be challenged on that. Either one of them two or somebody else. But I knew that at least one of your brown callers would respond to that, because they don't care about the truth. It only fits. They only, they want to say what benefits them and their own race. That's it. There's no debating it.
I think that the Holocaust on some level happened, man. I mean, I haven't looked that deeply into it. I've heard Asmodor and other people, the late great, our resident historian Asmodor, talk about, how a lot of times in real time we've seen these people exaggerate and make up things and not tell the whole truth. So I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you on that. But I don't know. I don't know. I think that there was wrong done by the Germans, wrong done by everybody in that war.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of it was a war.
Right.
But I mean, the only thing we've gotten, which it woke me up to this issue, is testimony, and you cannot rely solely on testimony.
Right. Yeah.
So, if you want to, or anyone else wants to challenge me on that, go for it. But the only sources you're going to find are from HBCUs and Jews that write on this topic. You're not going to find it anywhere else, because it fits their narrative for trying to tear down the white race. That's it. Right.
I obviously I disagree with abusing and using and hyping up some victimhood story and demonizing story to smear the whites, obviously. But I think that sometimes the whites are too quick to go the opposite extreme and speak without necessarily knowing, But that's honestly neither here nor there for me. I'm not that interested in it because it's so done. It's so over.
I know it was the 30s.
Yeah, and we're almost in the.
You know what I'm saying?
And we're almost in
almost
the. We're in the 20s, but when you say 20s, I'm thinking 1920s, but it's 2020s, and we're in the mid 2020s.
5 years away from the 2030s.
Right, which is crazy.
But you see the reason. Hey, I've said this a million times. I feel like a broken record, but I mean, I love to say for your audience, the reason they bring this up, it's not us bringing it up, it's them bringing it up. Is because they've twisted it to make themselves look like the victims and make us look like the bad guys. Everything your caller from Kentucky and specifically said yesterday was literally, I mean, you could hear the hate he had for white people in his voice and everything he said. And it's because, what were you saying?
Yeah, he does. He does. He's interesting. He's I don't really think of him as he does. I don't necessarily like you hate white people because that doesn't tell the whole story, because he does hate white people, but he is an angry person. Like he has anger as most of us do. And in that anger, we believe lies pretty easily. So
exactly.
So he believes this lie.
But destroy.
He believes this lie that props up his ego about his identity with his race or whatever his tribe, his supposed tribe.
Yeah, exactly right. And so, but he's an even more minority than his own race.
Right.
And I've heard myself many Browns say these are not all black people, referring to him, because I guarantee you he's one of these. These lame-o street screamers or whatever you want to call them. You just walk down the street innocently.
Oh, I don't picture John. There are a lot of those guys who scream. I don't know that John in Kentucky would yell at people in the streets. He doesn't seem like the type, but maybe I'd be surprised. Would you like to talk with?
The type?
Yeah, he seems like the type to go to work, come home, do the family thing.
No, you're being nice.
Go to their church and then call into Hake. And then sometimes try to call into JLP and say, watch out, it's going to switch. Because they don't all the Hebrew Israelites don't yell at people and say Hitler was right and stuff like that. I have a caller who might like to talk to you, Ronnie in Ohio. Would you like to talk with him?
Absolutely, yes.
Ronnie in Ohio, you're live with Haden in Texas. How you doing, man?
My brother Hake, I'm all well. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
Good deal. Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Ronnie?
All is well. I can't speak for black Hebrew Israelites or any of those other groups. The only thing that I guess I stated, which I would still challenge you on, is that the Holocaust did occur and Jesus was non-white.
Okay. And
but not black.
Would you like to? Right.
Would you say not black, Ronnie? Or would you say possibly black or probably black or what? Out of curiosity.
I think he's not white. He would be under the colored category. The two categories used to be white and colored. Jesus would have been directed to the colored lines, to the back of the bus. He would have been able to sit in the front of the bus.
Okay. So what proof do you have to suggest that, Ronnie? What proof?
What proof do you have to suggest that he's not?
Well, I mean, if you go on the internet, this is just the obvious answer. If you go on the internet and type in Jesus, the image that comes up is a white man, not a Jewish, not a colored man. It's a white man. Historically, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, even Adam and Eve have been known to be white. And historically, that has always been the case up until 2012, when the BLM movement radicalized and wanted to make everything black and fit their narrative, just to make them, uplift them and make them seem like they've accomplished it over the course of 400, 500, 600, 700 years. So I would like to know, what physical proof do you have to suggest that Jesus was a colored man?
Got it. Okay, so just to juxtapose my evidence, your evidence is that white artist painted him as white, so that's why you think he was white.
Not
just so
white.
I understand. You said
no. Respectfully, no. Look, this is not something that's just come up over the course of like the most like 50, 100 years. Historically, it's been known that Jesus has been white from people like 300, 400. After the whole when he spent time in Israel and stuff. Historically, he has always been known as being white up until 2012, when BLM radicalized it and said he was a colored person. So I'm going to ask you again.
Got it.
I want physical proof that Jesus was a colored man, not a white man.
Understood. So I just wanted to make sure that I understood you correctly, and I can tell that you are misinformed. When you say that it's been known historically, I would push back on that. It might have been widely accepted, but it wasn't historically known. There are scriptures in the Bible of Jesus escaping into the crowds and hiding in the crowds of people in Jerusalem, Nazareth, and different places in the Bible where the Romans were looking for him, and he escaped. A white dude with a beard would not be able to blend in with the crowd of people in Nazareth, in Jerusalem. If you want to go to the internet and Google a picture of what people in Nazareth look like, you won't see a bunch of white dudes with beards. So if Jesus could blend in with those type of people, he clearly was non-white. There's your physical proof that you probably won't accept, because it's hard for you to accept that Jesus was not white.
I never.
Go ahead.
Let me jump in. It never came up when I was growing up as a young Christian, whether he was white or not. I never considered him to be white. I always thought that he was Jewish and from the tribe of Judah, which I considered them to be like olive-skinned. I didn't know whether that was tanner olive or lighter colored olive. I didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really anything that was talked about or mattered. And to this day, I don't see how it matters, except that it's, I've seen more people be silly trying to call Jesus black, or trying to be like, oh, in your face, white people, Jesus is not white. But most white people that I ever knew, never thought that Jesus was white or really talked about it or cared.
Yes. So Ronnie, again, I'm not trying to, get confrontational or anything. And like, no, in your face, Jesus, I'm not trying to be that way. I promise you.
Likewise.
What was that?
He says likewise.
I was saying likewise. I'm on the same thing. I would rather have a conversation as opposed to a screaming match or a quote unquote pissing contest.
And I'm gonna cut this short pretty quickly. So last word, Haden.
Yes. So what I wanted to say was John in Kentucky yesterday said that the whites were the chosen race at the time, and then at the end they're going to be destroyed. Blah blah blah. Of course he twisted it to use it to his advantage. The Bible said that's meant specifically for the Jews, Israel. Israel was on the verge of almost being destroyed. Either last year or 2 years ago in the war with Gaza. That's who the Bible is referring to, because the Israelites and the Jews, what they did to Jesus was so criminal, and what they've done even to this day right now in America. Israel is America's number one ally, as I'm sure you both are aware.
America is Israel's number one ally.
Well, they're both allies.
Yeah.
So, but what they did to Jesus back then and what they're doing right now is absolutely criminal, and that's who the Bible is referring to, as in the end will be destroyed. Not whites, not Europeans, Israelites and Jews. And once they're gone, the whole colored narrative is finished as well. So I just wanted to make that point, because it was brought up yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can't speak for Kentucky, John. I can only speak for me. The thing that was historically known is that Jesus was olive colored. I've seen green olives. I've seen black olives. I've never seen white olives.
How about olive oil? Olive oil is kind of like Caucasian colored.
I think it's a little more bronze or golden. But yeah, so historically, if we're going about the historical proof, the people that were alive to see Jesus They said he was olive-skinned, and there are green olives, there are black olives, but there are no white olives. And if he wants to take with regards to the Holocaust, I think you should go and look at how history is taught in Europe and see if that lines up with your narrative where you say that there's no real proof of the Holocaust. I guess you want to see the graveyard, you want to see the dead bodies. I don't know what else you want to see.
Yeah, I thought that there were like
physically.
pictures of those a little bit.
It's a bunch of stuff. Like, so if he's only limiting his
I wouldn't
American-based places, that's a bad thing.
But I wouldn't point to how history is taught in Europe necessarily, because there's a whole lot of propaganda in Europe. It's worse than America on some level. Not to discount that it's all false. I'm not saying it's all false at all. I'm just saying that history is kind of kiss-up culture. I mean, all of the white countries are kind of kissing up to, racism. It's like over-dramatizing.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Ronnie, how about this? For the sake
and then
of
I got to
time,
wrap it up. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this another day, Ronnie?
Yeah, I'm with that. But the thing I was pointing out, not saying that European countries teach history great, but if Switzerland and Russia and Poland and Georgia and all of those countries they're all in agreement that the Holocaust happened, and it most likely happened. That's what I'm pointing at.
Okay, let's talk about this another day for the sake of Hake's time right now.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
I would love to talk more about this.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Yep, have a good weekend.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
All right. Alex in California is on the line over here. Alex, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hakey Bear.
Hey.
Are we kind of moving quick right now? I can if you need to.
Yeah, a little bit. Go for it.
Two shout outs. Is the newer call screener, is it Derek?
I think so. He's the producer of JLP. And he sounds like Snoop Dogg to me.
Yeah. Shout out to Derek and shout out Terminator 2.
Nice. Indeed. Right on. I watched it recently. Okay.
Nice. So I don't like movies, but when I was a child, that was my favorite movie.
Nice.
So I wanted to talk about Trump's mass deportation thing, but real quick, I wanted to squeeze in a response to the alligator attack you were talking about yesterday.
Wasn't that crazy? Yeah.
It's crazy. So I saw a reel that's probably going to stick with me forever. It was basically lions attacking each other over like a hierarchy system, like the king of the pack or whatever. I don't know what it is, but basically they were killing each other. But the lions will actually not kill the other lion or the prey or whatever they're going after. They won't actually kill it all the way usually. They will just incapacitate it. And then they usually, not to be too graphic, but they'll eat it from like the rear end or like the belly first.
Wow.
While the being is still alive.
Ooh,
and
I've heard of that.
So for us, that's like extremely brutal, and it's just brutal. But in their mind, it's more of a timing thing. Someone is explaining it's more of a time thing. They don't want other scavengers to come at it or other predators to come at them quickly if they killed it, and they don't have that kind of compassion or care that we do,
right?
Or sensitivity.
Yep.
So that's a human thing. So just be careful with animals, everybody, especially gators. I think everybody knows that, but you will get eaten alive slowly, and that's not a good way to go.
Ooh, wow! I wasn't aware of that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, don't mess with animals if you don't need to.
Totally, good advice. And a lot of whites do that.
Oh, I'm guilty of it too. I used to catch all sorts of weird critters when I was younger.
Yeah.
So the deportation thing, a few of the housekeepers I have at work, there was a few that left about a month or two ago when we heard about this stuff, first started talking about it. And then a few of them are working on getting their citizenship now too. And I was actually really proud of one of them. She had me record like a test that they had to take. It was 100 questions, and she got 100 out of 100 correct.
Nice.
No hesitation. I was really proud of her.
That's cool.
She barely speaks English, but she's a hard worker, and I know I sound like a mama spirit, but I was just, I felt I was impressed, and I'm proud of her.
Nice.
But my main point is like this deportation thing. I was thinking about it. Like that's going to affect hotels, obviously, all our housekeepers are going to be gone. Restaurants are going to be, that's going to affect restaurants. That's just the two main things I can think of. There's lots of labor that they do. And I don't know, at this point, I'm like, how are they logistically going to go about this? Is it going to be police or military or?
It's a good question. I don't know. And I have no real response. I know that Trump knows and thinks about the economy and the workforce and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how he and his team go about this.
Yeah, maybe I'm like a big turncoat to the whites, but I feel kind of torn. I feel like just because I'm around these people daily, like the ones like the housekeepers or restaurant workers, maybe they can get at least like maybe last in line to get kicked out, and we can go for like the drug dealers and the criminals first.
That should be the priority, definitely.
Yeah, like get rid of the bad hombres for sure.
A lot of the people whom I worked with, they had sold drugs too, in addition to working at these in these shops, in these warehouses, In addition, on top of their legitimate jobs, so-called, they sold drugs. So
right.
they're not all good hombres, but they're nice people, and you have like an attachment to them sometimes. I can sympathize with that.
And for all I know, these ladies could be like being held ransom by the cartel or whatever, and they're just working to pay off. I have no idea.
And they could be stealing from the homes that they're supposedly cleaning, although some of them are smart enough not to steal from the owners.
Well, yeah, this is a high-end hotel, and I think they know not to screw around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something I was thinking about. I'm like, are they going to literally send in troops going house to house? Like, this is going to be nuts because I'm like the only white person on my street. I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah, and well, some of them are probably 14th Amendment born here, anchor baby. 14th Amendment abuse, of course, but they're considered American. And so I think if he gets rid of, which I don't see him doing it, but he might be able to do it, get rid of birthright citizenship, probably a lot of these people are still going to be grandfathered in as so-called Americans, the people who were born here. I don't see, I would kind of stay out of my imagination about it because the troops thing, I don't see that as being politically, I think the judges would stop that, whether judges are right to do it or not. Yeah, politically, you won't get away with doing the strong manly thing, total manly thing. The total manly strong thing would be troops door to door and cops, but there's going to be a lot of people fighting against that. I bet you there would be like do-gooder cops and soldiers doing selfie videos saying, "I'm not going to participate in this. This is not 1930s Germany,"
We're thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to ever happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely in support if they're getting the deadbeats and scumbags, go door to door around them all up. But I'm just saying maybe take it easy on the housekeepers and the restaurant workers.
I think if you're not going to like your new, if you had Hakenomics with you, you'd end up having to work with these blacks who've been on welfare and unemployment and all that stuff, because Hakenomics will end welfare and unemployment and all this stuff, and the able-bodied American blacks will have to go back to work, and then you're gonna you're not gonna like your coworkers.
No, I'm not voting for Hake. Then I definitely I would rather work with Mexicans.
Yeah, I know, which is funny because I used to think Mexicans were almost as bad as blacks because I didn't have that much exposure to blacks. But blacks are they're like another level from the Mexicans.
The reason I'm comfortable saying that is every race has a problem with them. It's like,
right.
You don't have to feel bad anymore. Like there's an issue.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it.
Right.
Yeah. I want to take up much more of your time, but I just was just thinking about how that was going to be done.
Great call, man. Understandable questions. Definitely. I'm interested.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. Wow. And Andre, a first-time caller in Baltimore, Maryland, on the line over here. Andre, how you doing? Thanks for calling.
Doing all right. Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Hey, I really enjoy you guys. Thanks to everybody, say from JLP, Anchor Baby, Joel, Derek, all y'all shout out. I really enjoy you. I thought you were another person when I first saw you. There's a guy on the internet, no giving names, but he looks almost like he could be your brother. He has like a lot of scientific and inquiry things, and like he was into the Ukraine and stuff. So when I first found you, I always thought you was another guy. And I was like, why is this guy not doing his regular spit one? And I kind of still fell asleep because the show was pretty good.
Are you on a speakerphone, or can you come closer to your phone? You're coming in really in and out.
I'm not on speakerphone, but I can yell at you a little bit. I'm just sitting in the car.
Okay, yeah. Stay close to your phone. Stay just like that, and don't shift about. And hopefully the signal stays steady. We'll see. Thanks, Andre.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it sounded like my father talking to me. So I was really into the Haden call that he did earlier, but he brings up a thought that I have. Like, I feel like I don't see a big difference between Haden and Kentucky John that much. And I think it's that Black Hebrew Israelite guy. Yeah. I had tried that when I was a kid, and I have a thing with me. Like, I'm not like other people. I could just sit by myself. And when I was learning that Black Hebrew stuff, I felt like it was a lot of hate. And when he talks to you, sometimes I can see that he's joshing around with you. But that's the reason why I didn't get into the Black Hebrew thing. Because to sit there and say to me, like, I'm nothing because I'm black or whatever, and then black people get into power, and then white people did it with all the stuff that he say, like, it's just like, it's hate to me, regardless if he's correct or not or whatever. I walked away from that because you can't just trade in one thing for another. Like when Nelson Mandela took over South Africa, he said that. He said, listen, when we take this government and change it and make things right, there's no room for revenge. And those Africans did not like that. Nelson Mandela would not let those people go after those whites down there. Uh-huh. And I noticed that is pure human nature. So Hake, you feel like I'm always getting the biggest cookie or whatever. So this first, and you feel like you slight or whatever. So instead of you making a batch of cookies where all the cookies the same size, you're going to purposely make a cookie big enough for you, put it in front of everybody, and take it first, because you want people to feel how you felt when you didn't get the big cookie. And I don't get how blind we can be and caught in ourselves that we don't see that we do what we complain about. That's why I think that stay present thing that Jesse says is very important. I wish I would have found your programs years ago, but I think God wanted me to come to some of these conclusions myself so that I can accept them and experience them. And some of the stuff that I was mad at that happened to me during my life, it was not in vain. It taught me things. Like, I learned Jesse's thing about racism and all this and blaming white people in my life, nothing but colored people, you know what I mean, like Indians, stuff like that, and women are my problems. And like, I never have had a white man just walk up to me, call me out my name. I've never seen a white man, go out his way to screw me over. I've never seen it. If it happened where I was not unable to see it, and I did not feel it the same way. But when I work around a lot of black women, when I work around a lot of white women of different races, you gotta be that friend and all this other stuff. And if you fall off of that little Richter scale with them, then they're just sitting there plotting on you constantly. Like, I don't know, like, well, your job is cool. I think it would be cool for you to think about your job when you go home. But if we just had, like, I'm a pharmacy technician, pretend I'm a pharmacy technician, and we just type in prescriptions, why would I think about that when I go home? But as an evil person, I'm thinking about how many prescriptions did Hake type compared to me. Did Hake take his break? Extra 15 minutes. I'm all into you.
Wow.
Oh, Hake took his day off, so I'm going to take my day off. It's something about people that do that, and that's why my whole turnaround back to the Black Hebrew Israelite people, where I fell off with them. I like that core message and so forth. I love fellowship.
Yeah.
I love fellowship, and that can get people. But when he talked like that seemed like that's just not Bible. You know, like, it just seemed like it's not Christian to sit there and be like, okay, you know what? I'm chosen. I'm perfect. I'm this, I'm that. And you is nothing but an alabaster snake living across a cesspool. Like, how is that better? How is that, like, Like I'm coming at you because you came at me like that, and then when we get on even grounds, I start coming towards you insultively. And I really like that. I really in core like what those black Hebrews got to say.
Yeah.
But really, it's like honestly, like it's. And one time he was talking, and this is another thing about that black mentality. Sometimes I gotta tell people that if you don't think that you brainwashed, then you probably are. Because how can you be so righteous or so perfect or whatever, and then you can come off with every criticism of people, and it's not just to get on a guy from Kentucky.
Right.
This is, everybody.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that. Just stuff, especially the forgiving your mother. My mother, she decided to find her own life somewhere, and left me with my father when I was real young, and maybe about 10 years old or something, I started looking around and seeing how other people was around me, and I couldn't figure out why I was different than them until like maybe a Mother's Day came up. And on Mother's Day, I do what I want to do. I didn't have my mom with me,
Yeah.
And I just started thinking like maybe I'm like this because I don't have a mother. I didn't think it as a positive or a negative thing, but I started recognizing that she really did me a favor when she went to find her life and everything and left me with my father. Most of the stuff that Jesse say about, man, my father did that for me. So when he goes into, you need to apologize to your mother, I do disagree with him on my position, me, only me. I feel like I owe my father an apology. Like, Dad, I wish I listened to you harder. Like that type of thing. And I had apologized. I had told my mother that I would never, ever get angry with her about something like that when I was in my mid-teens. And I never understood anything that Jesse's saying. And some of the feelings that I never had, I thought it maybe was me, like I'm robotic. But I'm really realizing now that the emotions are really driving us, and they driving us to hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish if you ever want to have a good time, turn on this Baltimore City news. We got kids.
Terrible, man.
We got kids out. I'm a guy watch my mouth. Jesse made a comment the other day. He was like, them children ain't innocent. They grow up and kill you. I felt like when he said that, it felt like Jesse was listening to me on my phone, and he taking notes out my life. Because I swear it's going to be a day in this city where some grown man that had a regular life, something's going to happen. He's going to be the one to pull out his gun first.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a tragedy. But when the kids beat up a grown man, beat a man up in the street, leave him half dead, we got a problem in the city. But if me and you go out and we defend ourselves against a group of kids, we two grown men, and 5 kids come to try to rob us, and we beat the hell out of them, they going to try to lock us up.
That's crazy, man. What a life you've lived. JLP says that most people actually don't even have to forgive their fathers because they never really resented their fathers. So
I love my dad.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right track, man. I agree with you. I kind of because I've been exposed to some of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Like I went to Vegas and met up with some along with JLP and some other people. Jesse did a debate with one, Elder Rashwa or something like that. And the way they live, it's like traditional, sort of religious, and I appreciate that aspect of them. They kind of know how to act, but they do believe in the racism thing, and they have there is an anger. It's just like the Bible thumpers, and it's just like everybody who has that evil, prideful, angry human nature that will pounce and hate and puff up as though they're better than other people.
Yeah, and you need to get some of your callers back because I missed the puppets.
Oh, right on, man. I hope to get Joe from Phoenix and hopefully even Mark from Los Angeles, if he so pleases.
Come back, Mark.
Yeah, I think he
Come back to Jamaica.
I really think that he got mad because I kept this black Christian woman on for like 50 minutes and I didn't get to him. And so I understand his frustration. But anyway, it's great hearing from you. Thanks for the call, Andre. Great call, man.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. Take care. Oh, man, he got me with the click. It's not even as if like there was not enough time to click to close it. Interesting. I forgot that Nelson Mandela, by the way, said that, but I kind of knew that, these communists, and he was a communist, I heard. A lot of times these communists will say the quote-unquote right thing, and it is the right thing. That's why, like, JLP thought at one point that MLK came from love because he was, oh, a man can never make me hate or something like that. Or I'll never allow a man to make me hate. And I forgive this woman who stabbed me. Didn't he get stabbed by a woman? Something like that. And judged by character and not color and all those things. But a lot of times they do say stuff that Christians and people, the general Christian populace, will agree with in order to deceive. But the thing that they said is still true or a factual or a right thing. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be taking revenge. And I did hear that Mandela was a competent communist. So I don't really take issue with quoting Mandela in that instance, especially. I have to get to Robert in Kansas, who's been on hold forever and ever. Amen. Robert, how you doing?
No, hey, I'm doing okay, man. You kept me on, you kept me on hold till now. Thank you so much, brother. I really, really appreciate it. I don't even know what I called for now.
The Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, all these, oh my gosh, these other callers about race. Hey, you know what, guys? Here's the thing. The Statue of Liberty, right, looks like a certain race. Okay. And the Statue of Liberty also looks like the angel that was thrown down from heaven, right? Everything is made in this image, right? And then what we did is we interbred with primates in the tropics.
We being human beings interbred with primates in the tropics, you're saying?
Yeah, we don't evolve from nothing and from primates. We migrated into Africa and we interbred with them.
And by that you mean white human beings interbred with primates?
Well, Hake, okay. So the Statue of Liberty has got a chain that's broken from, let's say, her foot, even though that foot doesn't look much like a her when you look at that face, right? That's called a transgender with a 7-point star on her head, right?
You're saying right, like I agree. I don't know.
No. I just wonder
those French gave it to us, right? Those perverted French. Shout out.
If I'm trying to wake you folks up, right, which as a flat earther, that's what I'm always trying to do, is that can you not see that we have the broken chain of a angel that was thrown down from heaven wearing a 7-point star that rules over our nation? Okay, like that, guys, it is basically liberty, right? The Statue of Liberty, libertas, right? Do what thou wilt.
Ooh, that's not the right. We don't want that type of liberty. Do what thou wilt is satanic.
Hey, we want the liberty of who, right? In the Constitution, the liberty of white men. White men.
Oh,
white.
Yes.
Yeah, white men, not gays, not women, not slaves or savages or any other inferior entity that will not be able to conduct the dominion of earth over Satan. And now he stands in the harbor of our greatest city, right? Like
New York.
When Jesse says we are at war with things that are not of this world, they're not physical, they are spiritual. It's not a joke, guys. We are dealing with something who wants to destroy the creation. Okay, they can't destroy God, so they attack creation, and they do so through what? If you can make a man gay, if you can put a woman in charge, if you say that a black is equal to a white.
I gotta wrap things up, man. I think I catch your drift. Appreciate it, Robert in Kansas. Take care, man.
All right, well let's put the demon back in the hole, brother. Fuck.
Yep. Thanks, man. I gotta wrap it up. It's Fob Friday, and I can't get to Rick in Hampton, VA. It is hooty hooty hoo, hooty 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 hooty. Andy Lau.
走到哪里都有人很想你，只是可惜越看就越有距离。我开始怀疑少了什么东西，是你的灵魂还是我太想你。梦一开始音乐是在动情，他们故意从不和我谈到你，我觉得犹豫，用心灵感应你，而你的身影被吹散北风里。你的人忽远忽近，忽冒忽明，忽暗忽走，忽然牵住我的手，我的心有喜有悲，有泪有痛，有骂有冷，有被情感左右，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里，于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。
No one can be like you, is what is the name of the song.
梦一开始，音乐是在动情，他们故意从不和我谈到你，我觉得犹豫，用心灵感应你，而你的身影被吹散北风里。忽远忽近，忽冒忽明，忽暗忽走，忽然牵住我的手，我的心有喜有悲，有泪有痛，有骂有冷，有被情感左右，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里，于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你，你独占我的忧，你手掌我的愁，我见过千万人像你的发，像你的眼，却不是你的脸。你的人忽远忽近，忽冒忽明，忽暗忽走，忽然牵住我的手，我的心有喜有悲，有泪有痛，有骂有冷，有被情感左右，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里，于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦，没有人可以像你，在我的感觉里，于是我闭上了双眼，就只能看见你。
Pico, call me. $1994. Well, thank you guys, and take care. The Fallen State coming up next. Bye. And then Anchor Baby after that. Bye.